Hey everybody, this is Stephanie. I am doing a breakdown of the Elle Studio monthly kit for March. I got this idea from Krystal Udante here on YouTube. I'm so sorry if I said her name incorrectly. She basically deconstructs the Ellie Edwards story kit and she breaks them down into bite-sized stories and also gets to use the kits to its fullest. So I guess the main intention is just to make sure you get to use as much of the product by the end of the month so that way you don't have to put too much into your stash. So I'm starting off with these photos that I have printed for 2022 in my Project Life album. I am behind. This is week 10. I have week 11 and 12 as well, and then I am up to date. I'm going to be also using the hip kit, Project Life kits that I also purchased for this month. So the other 2 weeks from March, I'm planning on using those. I'm not 100% sure since it is the first time that I got a hip kit. I'm very excited though. So let's get back to on screen here. I went with the warmer tones of the kit, pulling out these cards. I will be placing a link in the or in the description box of this kit. I do share a unboxing as well as some add-ons that I got. So I went with the warmer tones and I really liked the way that looked and helped accent some of the photos since I do have some in black and white. Here I'm pulling out some of these clear, what do you want to call these, folders. I know scrapbook.com does have them, and I did prefer those since they had the longer version opening than that skinny side. However, they were out of stock, and I got those from Amazon, and they were cheaper buying them in a bigger portion. I think I got them for like 15 or 20 of them for under $20. So I'm going to go ahead and link those both down below, and it is a bigger size. I think it was like 7 by 9 or something. Basically a bigger size that if I had to put any of my 6 by 8 pattern papers in there, I can. So that's what I had originally got for that. So moving to the next week, this is week 11. In the kit, there was a Polaroid frame, and that gave me the idea to just make this spread all about some 3x4 photos, and then the other space or gaps, I place Polaroid frames. So I did have to pull out some of the Polaroid frames that I have within my stash of Elle Studio, so that wasn't a problem. And here I'm just thinking of an idea of grabbing out some of the die cuts that can coordinate with the Polaroid frames. I am so sorry about the bird. She hears the kids outside playing and she's kind of bummed that she can't go out with them. So I'm here debating with the March labels that they would perfectly coordinate with each of the frames. I also went into the digital cards to look for any frames I can find within the digitals, and there were some other ones, and it gave me some more inspiration to do another layout, you guys. So I don't know if I'm going to bring them into the spread or it's a whole separate project, but that's another topic for another day, you guys. I am on a roll. So anyways, I got this idea and I really like the way this is looking, so I'm going to grab out another one of these pockets here and I'm going to place them in. For most of the spreads, I'm not going to be placing too many die cuts in here just because I want to have that flexibility to fit them into either weeks. But I really liked the idea of having a ton of the frames all on one spread. I don't know if they're just going to be cluster based or I'm going to do my journaling. I have a feeling I like the idea of adding in my journaling. And yes, I will be using my typewriter. Moving to week number 12, I am going to be pulling in more cards now. I really like this idea and I hope this works. I hope I don't change my mind. This kind of gives me the feel of placing your cards within the page protector to plan ahead. But the biggest difference is I have my photos already printed, so I'm better able to coordinate with the photos. So this is what makes me feel like I'm setting this up for success. I am struggling on this spread between adding in my multicolor card or going with a monochromatic feel of these blues, since my photos tend to kind of have the blue and a little bit of the peachy color. So I'm gonna go ahead and include the multicolor card, and I'm gonna call that good to go. Again, I mentioned I don't place any die cuts in there just so that way I can have that flexibility throughout each week. I'm gonna have that little clear container on my desk for each week that I complete. And I struggled here because you notice there's two cards within this kit, and they both say morning, afternoon, and evening. One in blue and another one in purple. And I really wanted to have them together somewhere in a project. So I should have just remembered the blue card is actually a printable, so it's okay to use it because I can print it again. And that's exactly what I do. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and work with that multicolor card as well, though. So let's see. I have to make these decisions when that week comes. So although I am planning ahead, there will still be a process video for each of these weeks every Friday. And I will go further into depth on what cards I end up choosing and what embellishments that I want to highlight for each week. I think I'm going to start focusing each week when on like maybe just the die cut, another week just stickers, another week just stamps and so forth, and that'll help me hone in on using my stash and just kind of getting creative. All right, you guys, I am sharing really quick here that I have my kits in there. I do have a journal here that I had wrote the ideas. I'm pulling out these Ziplocs here on the smaller ones just because honestly I didn't need to use those folders for these smaller projects. This card here makes me think of a photo that I want to document in my traveler's notebook, along with these three neutral hexagons that I want to just jot down three things. And the card says happiness found here. And the photo that I'm thinking to document with this TN layout is a photo of myself. And I was just so happy that day that I took a selfie photo, and I just wanted to remember that and do a little bit of a reflection on what makes me happy at that moment. Another traveler's notebook layout that I have in mind is to use these two die cuts. One says the best way to start the day and the best way to end the day. And I thought it'd be perfect to do two photos the size of a traveler's notebook. So two 4x8 photos, and then place the die cuts on there and call that done. Right, I'm moving forward to the next story here. I decided to pull out all the March labels here, and I'm going to gravitate more to the blues and greens of these labels, and I'm going to be doing a traveler's notebook layout for my youngest son, Henry. He kind of like a currently page, just things that he's been saying that are just so funny and little things that he's doing as well. So I decided to use all those blues and greens, but I do also want to coordinate, so some of them may not make it on that spread depending on what they say. Initially I thought I would pass on tearing or breaking down these chipboard titles here and just wait as I progress to each project. But as I move to my last layout here that I'm starting to pull the cards out to go with the 4x6, the project that I have in mind is on the Elle Studio Facebook group. They have a sketch right now, and I love the way that sketch looks, and I cannot wait to do it. So I'm pulling out some of the chipboard titles that I think I would go with that sketch, and I'm going to place that sketch right here. However, I do want to recommend that you check out the Facebook group of Elle Studio, especially if you have the products and you need some inspiration. It is amazing. So now I'm pulling out some of the, I'm cutting them down, and I don't know which title I want to use. I think I'm leaning toward the fun times, but I do like the play all day. I am debating between documenting our day at SeaWorld or our day at Incredible Pizzas. Either one works, so that makes the decision that much harder. But we'll see when that spread comes out. So this is just a quick example of the templates that I had made for December daily, and I may just use that for each of my pockets here. So that way I have something where I jotted down the projects and not just in my journal. Alright, I pulled out the die cuts because there were a few pieces that I did want to make sure I placed into that specific project. So I just pulled out a few of them, and I'm making sure that they go in the one that I thought would fit. But other than that, I will leave those there for the project life weeks. I am pulling a lot of the die cuts actually just for the last project, which is that sketch that's on the Elle Studio Facebook group. There were so many circles within the die cuts that I cannot wait to use them, as well as these cute little, what would you call them? They're not banners, kind of like labels, and they're just so adorable. And I pulled out another die cut here. It says remember this in this neutral color, and I remember having the hexagons in here, which is also in the gray color. And then I pulled additional 2 Project Life cards in there just to see if I wanted to place more information. I started as I'm getting close to, placing everything into a project. I was really trying to find homes for all of these remaining pieces. So I'm placing it here in this clear container. This container is going to stay on my desk as I complete each project from this kit. Here I have 3 Project Life weeks ready to go to get documented, 3 traveler's notebook layouts, and a 12 by 12 layout, you guys. That is amazing, all from one kit. I didn't include the add-on stickers here, these chipboard cooler tones, into any of the kits because I want to have the flexibility to distribute them evenly throughout each of the projects throughout the month. I hope you got inspired in some way, and I hope you stick around for the future videos of these projects. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, bye.